And I'm gonna stop there because this goes into another part of teaching. And I know that's gonna be something I'm gonna go through with our newbies. But if you're wanting this information, I will provide this to you. Just send us an email and I will shoot this over. But it's so much more to this. Um, Let me make sure. I want to make sure I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's so much more to this. So I don't want to spend too much time. I just wanted to kind of do a short overview about surplus funds, the basics of it. Once you get the basics out of the way, everything else just kind of comes to you very easily. Is Shunn on here tonight, babe?
Yeah, yeah, he heard that was him that was speaking a while ago that says, "Could you?"
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't see. That's why I'm about to stop sharing screen so I can see who's all on here. Shunn, would you like to unmute?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so I don't think we had a chance to formally congratulate you on closing your first deal. So I want to
Oh
be the
yeah.
second or the third or the fourth to tell you congratulations on that. I know
Oh
that,
yeah. Most,
Congratulations.
yeah, that's a good
yeah, most
feeling to
definitely.
feel.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
W
So
in the
tell
chat. W in the chat.
Oh yeah,
so
That's a
tell
most
us
good
a
job.
definitely.
little
It's
bit.
a good feeling.
So tell us a little bit
Uh,
about the process and the claim, and a little bit about the claim it, and things like that.
Um, she was she was kind of skeptical at first. I had contacted. I actually didn't even contact her. Me and my assistant were doing some calling one day, and we ran across a lady's number that was disconnected. So we reached out to her daughter, and I just told her whatever about the business, and she was like, "Yeah, my mom is pretty down right now," and uh, she was basically like, "But look, I have a number." I was like, "Ma'am, you just don't understand. If you give me her number, then this is definitely be a blessing to your mom." So she was like, "Well, hold on, I'm about to call her on three way." So she called her on three way, and then I got the lady's contact information, and I think we got her address and stuff like that. She was still staying at the property, and that was the thing right there. She was mad because she felt like that the property got foreclosed on up underneath her, you know. And I don't know how many other people feel the same way, that when they have going to foreclosure, they just still in denial. But she was in denial. She was like, forget that money. Other people had already been contacting her and trying to get in contact with her, because the daughter was sending messages saying, "Hey, people is calling you." She was like, "I don't want to talk to nobody." But for some reason, I got on the phone. We kind of bonded, and we just kind of started talking. So this was in, I think that her property foreclosed on in July, I think it was. And so we had went through, a few months of just kind of going back and forth. I was just kind of texting her, just making sure everything was all right, and she was still telling me she wasn't gonna claim. She was like, "Hey, I'm going to court. I'm going to court. I'm gonna take him to court and all of that." So she finally started the process of going to court. And I was telling her that, hey, you know what? I'm just working a business. It's very rare that, that the people who the homeowner wins the battle in court. And she was just like, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take it all the way through." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, just call me back and let me know how it go." And one day she came from court, and she had said that she lost in court and she had to move. And then she was trying to get the buyer to give her X amount of money to move out. And I had told her, I was like, "Man, that's probably not gonna work now, because
Oh,
now
she was
y'all
trying
don't
to do the
rent."
cash for keys. Yeah.
She was trying to do the cash for keys, but she was trying to basically manipulate the situation and basically just tell them that, "Hey, I'm not moving, and if you don't give me some time, I'm gonna tear this house up." Like, she was like literally trying to mess the house up. So I was like, "Ma'am, don't do that." I say, "Just go ahead and just move out, take the money." And I was basically just trying to give her steps on what she can do to go ahead and move out. So then that's when she had called me one day or whatever. She was like, "You know what? I lost in court, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and move out. So I kind of gave her a plan on what to do. I told her that let me go ahead and look into what the actual amount is on the overage, and I looked into it. I think at first it was like 70,000 or something like that, and then come to find out after the trustee called me back, they told me that she had some type of extra loan out on her house or something like that that took it, basically took it down to like 43.
Mm,
43 is what she had owed. I mean, what was due back to her. So then, I drew up the paperwork. Luckily, the trustee that I was working with, me and them had already established some type of relationship, which was really good. So people, I don't care if y'all have to sweet talk these trustees. Like when you call in, they automatically don't like you for some reason because they feel like that the business that you're doing, the homeowner can do it. So you basically just got to sweet talk them. But I wound up getting in really good with this trustee to the fact that the trustee was calling me, asking me, "Hey, have you talked to your client? Like, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm just waiting on her. I'm waiting on her to go to court." So by the time that I had called the trustee back, I told him that, "Hey, you know what? My client's ready to move forward on it." And she sent she sent over the disbursement form showing what the customer was going to get. I had to send it to her to get it notarized, and then shoot, sent it back to them. And I mean, shoot, as soon as I sent it back to them, oh, I changed up a few things also too about how the funds were going to be dispersed because what I did not want to do is that the the homeowner get the check in their name, and then I never get paid. So I remember even calling, texting Jay or whatever. I was like, "Hey man, what would you do in this instance right here?" And he was like, "Hey man, just switch it up, on the paperwork." And that's what I did because the trustee had told me, like, "Hey, if you don't get this paper in, then we're just gonna go ahead and send the check to her." I was like, "Ma'am, do not do that." I said, "Let me get this paper transferred." So I altered my yeah, I altered my
Well, I said, don't do
out to
it.
yeah.
No, real
I said,
rap.
man, don't do it. I said, don't do it because at the end of the day, I'm gonna send you over another contract. So we stopped everything we was doing. We redrew the contract up or whatever to
Mm-hmm.
say that hey, it's gonna be in my name and we're gonna endorse it. We're gonna drop it into our bank account. And by law, they had to do exactly what the contract stated between me and my client. So then they stopped it from going to her. They actually put it in my name and her name, and then they sent it to my address. So when she
Mm.
signed that, everything or whatever was good. And then now I'm just getting to the point where you know how sometimes like the client or whatever, they'll go ahead and sign the contract, but you know how sometimes people just be signing contracts and they don't go through there and read it. So I thought for
Mm-hmm.
some reason I was kind of nervous thinking that when it's time for me to go ahead and cut her payment, she's gonna be like, "Hey, where's the rest of my money at?" And then it was
Right.
gonna be some type of dispute. So I was like, man, I hope that she don't go through none of that. So come to find out, I was supposed to sit up there and drop this lady off a cashier's check. We went from all the way that I was going to drive out there to where she was just to give her the check. I was just
Mm.
excited because it was my first deal. So I didn't care about even driving nowhere. I like,
No,
look, I
real
drive all the way across.
rap.
I drive all the way across to go drop this check off to as long as she know I got my money. So then she didn't have a bank account. So with her
Oh.
not having a bank account, I told her, hey, go get you a bank account and then that way there because I don't feel comfortable with pulling up giving you cash. So either go get a bank account or something like that. But in the meanwhile, her not getting a bank account, then like 2 months went by and she was asking me to send her money. Like she'll call me every other day. Can you send me 100? Can you send me two? Can you send me
Mm.
500? And I
So
was sending
will.
it to her. Yeah, I was sending her the money, and I was like, it got to the point where she started getting like real disrespectful. Like I was, like I don't know, like we was cool or something. And sometimes you try to establish that relationship with them or whatever, but then she
To
kind
a
of started
certain
getting
extent,
disrespectful.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't have a life. You know what I'm saying? She'll
Right.
call me at
Mm-hmm.
10 o'clock at nighttime saying, "Hey, I need you to send me $200 on emergency." I don't get it to the next morning. I wake up to text messages where she cussing me out. You see what I'm saying? So I told her,
Hey,
I
hey,
said, you know
Shunn,
what?
how was you sending it? Was you sending it through Zelle or Zoom? Since she didn't have a bank account, I want the class to see how you was getting it to her.
I was sending it to her through
Cash App.
Cash App, and,
Yeah, about
and
to say
every
Cash App.
Cash App, every Cash App, what I would do is I would screenshot it and I would send it straight to her phone number. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then it got to the point where I was thinking that what she was going to do, because it wasn't in the contract that I was going to be dispersing the money. My
Right.
contract stated that if that once I get the check was supposed to be to her in 72 hours, right?
Right.
But considering that
Mm-hmm.
she didn't have a bank account, none of that
It
was
took a little bit
modified.
longer.
So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yes, it took a little bit longer. So I thought that what she was going to do is she was going to be having me send her all of these cash apps, and then she was going to try to take me to court or whatever and say, hey, you know what? He didn't do this right here. So I even called Jay about this. I was like, man, look, I ain't trying to, so I'm going to cover all my ropes. So Jay was like,
Yeah.
bro, don't even worry about it, man. Listen,
You
just
tripping,
send
bro.
her
You
her cash app.
tripping.
Yeah, he's like, you tripping. He said, man, send that woman her cash app and then go ahead and send her the rest of the money. And that's what we
Right.
did. She woke up. She was like, I need you to send me 500. I'm like, ma'am, I'm not sending you another dime
I'm about
until
to
you
see
send
all
me
of it.
your bank
Yeah.
account
Mm-hmm.
information, and when I can wire you the money. So what I did is I created that night I created like a disbursement letter, like a release of form, and
Mm-hmm.
then it
Mhm.
went through there. It showed all the expenses that we done gave to her, minus the notary, and
Mm.
minus whatever thing is left. And then we sent that to her. She signed it, and I said, once you sign this, I start wiring you your money. So I think what was left over after I had sent her everything, I think it was like I think I sent her in $9,000 increments because if you go to the bank and then you try to send that amount of money, it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
pop up or whatever. Like, hey, why are you sending over $10,000? So I told her
Oh
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna
we ain't
send a
trying to do
whole
no red flags.
no
exactly,
red
That's a
flags,
good
real
job,
red.
son. We ain't trying to go.
exactly. So
We ain't
exactly.
trying to
So
do
that's what
nothing.
I did. So I said I'm gonna stay up under the radar, ma'am. I said I'm gonna send you increments of $9,000, and then that's what I did. I started sending her $9,000 or whatever, and it was shoot. After I sent her that last payment. I told her I appreciate it. I called her, I think one time after that, checked on her, but I pretty much already knew she was gonna run through that. She was gonna run through that money, man. But it was a good feeling, man. And I think that I was talking to my girl the other day, and I was like, it was a blessing that I got that deal because at the end of the day, I feel like if I wouldn't have got that deal, then I would have been discouraged because I have not got another deal since then, but I haven't been tripping on that because I know that I've been still learning the business and working the business. So that deal right there, it was just a blessing within itself to know that, hey, you know what? If you put in the effort or whatever and you do it, it's actually going to work. And
It's
when it
gonna pay
works,
off. Yeah.
it's going to pay off. So the amount of
Mm-hmm.
money that I had made out of that deal, I think it was like 8,700 that I made, and then
You
and
made
gave
eight
her
racks.
38.
You made one, two, three.
That
You made
ain't
four
bad.
figures. You made eight
Yeah,
racks off a phone call.
Just sitting on
I
sitting in the
made
house.
yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
good.
Just
That's
sitting in
great.
the house, bro, and sitting in the house, just sending emails, talking to her every now and then. I probably put in maybe 10 hours completed with her from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, it's not bad, but I'm glad that that deal, like I said, fell into our hands because, again, if it wouldn't, I would be real discouraged now. So now that I know what the proper steps, a deal can literally be that easy. That deal could have been it could have been a six-figure deal, but at the end of the day, it was just that deal right there. You know what I'm saying? We would have had to do the same amount of work. You feel what I'm saying? So
So that was
that's what
mortgage foreclosure?
that was a mortgage
Yeah,
foreclosure.
I think that's off the
Yeah,
list, and that's off the lead list that we all send the students. That Texas
yeah,
Georgia list, and that's what I
yeah,
would tell
yeah.
Sean when he first started. Sean, like I do this and do that. I said, Sean, just give me a little time, bro. Just listen to me. Just when you get out the shop, just what I'm saying, a few hours a day, just email, text, and call somebody. If you do that on a consistent basis, just that positivity and making that effort, it's impossible for you not to get
Mm,
nobody. If you keep going,
yeah.
stay consistent, stay positive, keep calling people, is somebody gonna say
Hmm.
hello? We don't know who gonna say
Yeah.
hello. Could be an uncle, an auntie, a sister, a brother, mama, daddy. Like this situation, the daughter find a mama. That's how we got that 200 grand tax deal in Nevada. Found somebody's daughter
Hmm.
on the gram TikTok and start going back and forth with her. The student told mom, I'm like, what? I got some money in Nevada. I don't remember being in Nevada, ma'am. Your name, Kia Tanya. Ain't nobody else in the world named Kia Tanya but you. And this
Right.
money got your name on it out here in Nevada. She like, I don't know how, but okay, give it to me. I don't care how much y'all make. Man, you can make
Hmm.
thousands of dollars. People don't care about splitting this money with you, long as you give it to them and you secure. Like he's saying, he was just talking to her, building a rapport. Talk to her a
Yeah.
couple of months. He like, I'm finna go fight. He
Yeah.
like, man, these people are already about your house. I don't know what you finna go fight for, but go get them, baby. I'm rooting for you. Holler at me in a
Right.
minute.
Right.
She holler
Right.
back at him
Right.
like,
So
man, they finna
I just
figure
gave
you
her
out.
time. Yeah. I just gave her some time, and when I gave her that time, and I told her make sure she called me after she leave court. When she called me, she was like, "Yeah, I want to go ahead and let's just go ahead and file so I can go ahead and get this right here." And she started go ahead and making plans, you know. But ever since then, I haven't really had a problem with really getting someone on the phone. So if you make phone calls and you are consistent with making phone calls, you're definitely going to get somebody on the phone. My thing is that I done got people on the phone, and then we done got all their information and we done sent them letters of authorization, and so we can talk to the trustee. And then next thing you know, we pull up all that information and come to find out it's no surplus.
Mhm.
So that's what I.
But that's just for mortgages, though, Sean. It's not for taxes. I want to get that clear with the students. You got to do a lot of research regarding the mortgage because sometimes you can't see. You really got to verify that due diligence to make sure they didn't have any other liens and judgments. If you look at somebody county site regarding their tax foreclosure list and they say they got 50,000, 95% that they got 50,000 sitting there because that's the county saying what they got. The only thing that's gonna come out of that is anything that the county is stating that they may owe more on taxes. But mortgage, you got to verify, because you may get some information saying it's $65,000 there. But again, we got to make sure it ain't other liens and judgments. And he thought he had a certain amount, but he sent it over to the trustee, and the trustee said, "No, man, she got another loan on the house." And you got to take that
Right,
out. So just keep that in mind on mortgage. You
right,
got to do a little bit extra digging to verify the debt and the judgment. But if you pull up any kind of tax list and it says 100 something thousand there, 95% it's 100 something thousand there, or 20,000, 40,000, whatever you see regarding the tax foreclosure list. So the taxes ain't gonna be no problem. Whatever the county says there, that's what they hold it.
so on the taxes or whatever, then basically you're going through the county, but
Yeah,
versus
judicial.
right. You're going through judicial, right? But
Yeah,
do
the
you
county and the
happen to
state.
file, or you happen to find your own leads, or not really just find them, or you happen to skip trace your own leads, or is there a list out there like how those mortgage overages lists come out?
Well,
Let
the
me answer
list
that.
like
Okay,
like
go ahead.
Dallas, the list is out there, but you got to skip trace everybody. You got to find somebody
Now,
phone
don't
number.
let skip tracing deter you from this. Like, it is not that hard. Like, literally, I use True People, and it's just really just using your common sense. You find them, you see who they possible relatives are, you get to calling them, you start putting the pieces together. It's really not that hard to skip trace. I sat here and skip trace a little bit today. I was like, okay, I'm not getting nowhere with this. Let me get on Facebook. That's where everybody's at. Found the sister. Now the sister calling the brother, telling the brother, I'm trying to get in contact with him. Boom. I'm about to
Hmm.
sign up somebody else.
Right. Okay.
That easy.
Okay.
Use social media. Everybody's on there. You can find them
Hmm.
and just tell them who you are when you send them a message. Just tell them who you are. If they really want to be nosy and really see who you are, they'll go on your page. That's why it's very important that you have your page set up. I know we want to have our personal stuff on there, but it's important that we have some type of page showing what we do, so it can match what we're saying.
Right.
So yeah, so y'all make sure that your social media pages reflect what you do. That makes it a whole lot easier. Now we can get past it's a scam. We can get past all of that. Who are you? Acting weird. I don't know you. And what is this is not real. You can get past all that. So she was able to, I was able to talk to the girl and we messaged each other. And I was like, hey, if you can connect me with him, I'll pay you a bonus. I ain't gonna tell y'all how much
Hmm.
I offered her, but I told her I would pay her a bonus if she was to get me in contact with him. If he signs up
I told him give him
and
1,500,
everything
give him
goes
a
through and
thousand
we are
dollars.
able to pay him out, boom,
Give somebody $1,000 or so to help somebody because you're just helping people at the end of the day. Just helping
they turn
people.
into bounty
Give somebody
hunters.
some incentive to help somebody. For
Bounty
real.
hunters around here. Yeah.
Help somebody, man. Just passing out money, man. Helping people. And I tell them when you know what I'm saying, when we get paid, when the person we're looking for get paid, y'all will get paid. We
Yeah.
give everybody incentive to work together to help everybody, because we're just trying to help people get this money that they don't know about. And like Karen was saying, sometimes they do know, but they haven't
Yeah.
claimed it yet. So, you just kind of build that rapport and build that relationship to hopefully you can be the one to help them. But again, I'm still flabbergasted and bewildered. And I can't believe that this my boy here made 8 racks off a phone call. See, that's what I want y'all to get excited about because I don't know how long it would take me to make $8,000 at this warehouse job that I was working, making
Hmm.
$13 an hour. I don't know how long it would take me to make $8,000. I still be
Yeah,
logged
that's the
in
reason why I'm
over
keep
my
pushing.
shift.
Yeah, that's definitely the reason why I'm keep pushing, man. And every month, then I'm doing like a different strategy on what it is. Some months it's been slow because I have not had my callers in place how I need my callers in place, But at the time that we had closed that deal, then we didn't even have any callers. It was just me and my assistant that was just kind of just going through the list or whatever, and just we went to the grocery store one day or whatever, and just so happened to take the list with us. And as I was driving, I sit up there and said, "Man, let me make this phone call." And I literally just called this chick and she answered the phone. She's like, "No, this is her daughter's." And then, okay, get me in contact. So I'm talking to her daughter and her mom on the way to the grocery store. I'm not just sitting still behind a desk or something like that. I was taking the list with me. So
So
just
you made so
even
you made a phone call in the car while you and the old lady was going to the grocery store?
I made yes, me and my sister was going to the grocery store, and I literally made the phone call, talking to her daughter on the phone, and that's not even the only. It's another guy who I had got in contact with the same month. I took my list or whatever to run an errand, and I called this dude named Tony Sterno, and Tony Sterno he had $160,000 overage.
Mm.
And I know that this was a true overage right here or whatever because Tony had been staying in that house for a long time or whatever, and he just recently had fell on hard times. You see what I'm saying? And because me and this dude, we used to talk for like 45 minutes. He was one of them long-winded Caucasian dudes or whatever that had plenty stories. So me and him was getting real familiar with each other, and he had already had like probably 5 people that actually pulled up on his house, like pulled up on him. So this is how I know that the surplus business. I was like, man, say these people is vultures out here, like they getting it, because he said that the day after that the foreclosure happened, people was already coming to his house or whatever with packets and stuff like that on trying to get him to sign and stuff like that. And I was like, did you sign anything? He's like, I haven't signed nothing yet. But me being me, I'm the only one who was long-winded with him and talked to him 45 minutes. We was talking about stuff on YouTube, Corvettes and stuff that he was gonna buy with the money when he come across money. We was just talking about all kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden one day, I had finally got him to sign my contract. And then with him signing the contract, I don't know if he tried to finesse me or whatever, but when he signed the contract, he didn't sign it Tony Sterno. He signed it like his middle name Sterno. And I was like, oh Tony, why you do that? Like why you didn't go ahead and sign Tony Sterno? And then next thing you know, me and him lost contact with each other for some months. So I picked up the phone probably about maybe a few weeks ago or whatever, and called him. And then a lady picked up the phone, said that Tony passed away. So I was like,
Oh man.
man. I say, man, that is crazy. So, I done my condolences. I'm talking to the lady now. I'm trying to get information out the lady, like who is the siblings, who is the wife, who is this right here. I was like, man, me and Tony had a good relationship. So I'm giving her stuff, like letting her know that me and Tony already been talking. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
she gave me her phone number just in case Tony's number had got cut off. I told her, hey, has the funeral arrangements came? And she's like, no, not yet. I'm like, man, y'all make sure that y'all tell me about these funeral arrangements. I'm just trying to get in good with them at this point right here. So shoot, me and her actually been talking now. So she's done gave me the daughter's name, which is supposed to be next to kin. So that's like a deal or whatever that I'm just kind of just working on now. And hopefully one day his daughter would just call me and say, hey, this is Tony Sterno's daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Man,
like,
you
shoot,
gotta skip trace and find that daughter. We gotta get to
I,
her because
yes,
it's
that's,
already some other wolves already looking for her.
yes, yes. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I'm like, shit, if this deal right here go through, then this can be another one. But the thing is, with the trustee, some of these trustees that you deal with is harder to deal with than the other trustees. You
Hmm.
know, I don't know if y'all done dealt with who is that? Daphne and Burke and Cindy Sanchez.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we done got some money from Daffin, but again, Shauna, we do it the other way. We don't work with them. I just once we get
And
these
the
mortgages, I
attorney,
just send them over to the attorney, and I tag my attorney in, and I don't have to worry about none of that. They go back and
and,
forth
and,
emailing the
and,
people,
and,
and then they get the money, and that's a wrap for us. I don't worry about these
and,
trustees.
and you know what, man? I am so trying to get it to that level right there, man. I'm trying to get it to that level, and I'm trying to hit every avenue. So right now, I'm just like I wanted to kind of just really, really get my feet wet with the non-judicial mortgage overages, and then I wanted to kind of move to taxes to see how that field is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about the business. You got so many avenues or whatever that you can really choose that you want to make money. You can wake up and say, I want to work in a whole other state and just start learning that state. But I've been really trying to get how, what I'm saying, the states that I'm working, I've been trying to get those down pat. Yeah.
So
good
y'all,
job.
I want y'all to just see. Me and Karen can talk till we blue in the face, green and yellow in the face. But to hear it from another student, that it's possible and you can do it, and the amount of money that he made just helping somebody, just making some phone calls whenever he have time. Because my boy run a upholstery shop that he usually at from in the morning till sundown, So I'm sure he already at the shop and he didn't fill y'all in. He probably already doing 10, 12 hour days, at the
I'm
shop.
still working. I'm still
Yeah,
working right now, man.
yeah. Because I
I'm,
told him, Sean, just make time, bro. Whenever you get home, I know you probably only gonna be able to do it in the evening, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Just make time, breaks after, when you get out work Saturday and Sunday. And he found time to just start doing that and got a deal and wrapped up $8,000 in his pocket. Of course, he had to talk to this young lady for a couple of months and build a rapport. It's no different than you're gonna have to do when you're talking to people, man. You just jumping in their chaos and their life. They about to get evicted.
Yeah.
It's total chaos going on in their life, and you just trying to like, hey, I got you, man. It's some money here due to you. You're just kind of being a long lost family member. He was like a son to this lady or a nephew or something like, ma'am, I know what you're going through, but it's some money here. And she like, man, I just want to fight. I can't believe this because every time somebody getting foreclosed and they still there, they thinking, hey, these people didn't work with me. They wouldn't help me. And that's kind of the situation. They don't. You miss a payment, big worm coming to the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big Worm didn't want to talk to Smokey no more. He talked one time, you late, you late, you late, you ain't paid me my rent or made my mortgage payment. I'm coming to the house, I'm finna take it. That's how these banks and mortgage companies are. You get late behind 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 payments, they done talking about it. Ain't nothing else to talk about it. They finna take the house to the front steps of the county and they finna sell that thing for whatever they can sell it for and move on. It's just a cutthroat, horrible business. But again, I just want to go back to he just made $8,000. He made 4 figures off a phone call.
Yeah.
Just
What
give
I
y'all
love
some
what
time.
Sean, what I love what Sean said was that him and his assistant was on the way to the grocery store. And I'm telling y'all, that's how laid back this business is. And as you grow and continue to grow, you're gonna find yourself on laying on a beach and camping, your phone gonna ring and it's gonna be a claimant returning your phone call. And you're gonna be closing deals on the beach. I mean, that's how for real gets. And it was numerous of times on vacation. So this is he took his call sheet. He took his call sheet to the grocery store. Like we take everything with us when we go travel. We take our spirals with us, a laptop, because we just don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know when that phone is gonna ring. You don't put out so many. You planted so many seeds. Things are starting to sprout. And those sprouts start calling your phone and returning your phone calls. They'll literally wait a month later. You could have called someone and left a message last month, and they may call this month. They getting around to clearing out their voicemail. Maybe they getting around to returning phone calls. Maybe they just getting around to wanting to talk to somebody. Because you got to understand, it's not just you calling. It's other companies, other people that do this calling. But how are you gonna stand out? What are you going to say? What keywords are you going to use? What tone are you going to use? What is your frequency? What is your vibration? What sets you apart? Because I'm sure with Shunn, I'm sure, like he said, she was probably receiving a lot of phone calls, but for some reason, Shunn stuck out to them. They was like, yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with him. He sounds cool. Probably, he probably reminded them of a family member or someone she knew from her past. You just don't know. So you always want to just, be mindful of that. So again, congratulations, Shunn. And I know we're getting ready to go on 9 o'clock. I want to open the floor for any questions, lingering questions that you may have. I'm not sure if I have to unmute y'all, so just raise your hand if you have any questions, and we will do our very best to answer them for you. So while I'm waiting for hands to go up,
or y'all can just jump in. Feel free to jump in. This is an open mic.
I don't know if they can unmute. That's why I was like, hey, if you can unmute, but yeah. Or raise your hand if you're not
able to. What are some pros and cons for tax versus mortgage cases? Like, are there any pros and cons? Like, I'd rather do tax or mortgage because X, Y, and Z. Which ones do you guys prefer and why?
I'm gonna let Jason. I thought he would have jumped in and interrupted. Me personally, what I've learned is both are good. Both of them are good. With taxes, of course, sometimes they may have to go through a court proceeding, and of course, with taxes, you just have to have an attorney. Now, like what Shunn was saying, he did a mortgage foreclosure. He didn't really necessarily need an attorney because the trustees seemed cool, laid back. They wasn't really uptight. Now that he got lucky with that because a lot of these trustees, they're like gatekeepers. So if you're not sending an attorney in, then they're going to shut it all down. So he was lucky to be able to close this without an attorney. But with taxes, yes, you will need to send in an attorney. Sometimes it has to go through, of course, a court proceeding. It may have to go through, what do you call it? It's at the tip of my tongue.
If somebody passed away, they may need to go through probate. If it's some heirs and stuff. Sometimes, not all the time, but it depends on certain cities and states and counties, and it depends on the amount. But usually with the state and the county doing these tax foreclosures, the taxes are always going to go through a court proceeding because it was a court proceeding that got them out of the house regarding the taxes with the county, and the county is holding the funds. So me personally, I like the county tax surplus funds because those are all the lists that you'll find online. You hear a lot of the gurus, Nick Fulmer and my boy Eric Richardson and my boy old school Sean Bougie and the old school man Bob Diamond, all the gurus will tell you that you can easily just pull up tax surplus funds list and something will come up on Google or Yahoo and you can start working that list right then and there. To verify that funds are still available there, you can call the county and ask them, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I want to check to see if these funds are still available. My grandma or my granddaddy passed away or whatever. Here's the name, here's the address, whatever it may be. And they will verify that the funds are still there. But I like those because you can see that the funds are there. You don't have to worry about usually any other liens or judgments or a home equity line or credit or any other loans against the house because it got sold for taxes. Taxes wipe out all of that stuff. So if it's taxes and then whatever county and city and state that you're in say that they got 47,000 sitting there regarding the tax foreclosure for this particular property, that's what's there. So I like those. And then a lot of people aren't kind of doing these taxes. A lot of this stuff online is people going out to these mortgage foreclosures. But these tax foreclosures happen, every month also, just like these mortgage foreclosures. So I like both of them. So because you can get $100,000 case on a mortgage foreclosure, you can get $100,000 on the tax. Our first one was $132,419.33 on a tax case that Karen was talking about with one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, and nephews, because the Brackens family passed away and Robert and his wife didn't have any kids. So where does the money go? It goes to the sisters and brothers and uncles and aunties and nieces and nephews. And that was 132,000. So somebody do 132,000 beside times 35%. Let me know anybody in the chat what's 35% of 132,000, and I'll retire you from your job. Somebody let me know when they type it in. What's 35% of 132,000? And you get that in 2 months. You get that in 60 days, 30 to 45 days in Texas. So I know I'm scared too.
About
I don't want to.
46K.
Yeah, yeah. So how will 46,000 help you? And me and my business partner split that 60-40. That was my first deal. That
That's a
stopped me
hell of a
from
deal.
that stopped me from working a graveyard shift right there. 40% of that got me out the graveyard shift. After I got that type of money, I said, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing nothing else. I'm finna do this. It's just money
Mhm.
just sitting here for people all over the world, from Hawaii to Alabama to North Dakota, South Dakota, Washington, Colorado, Connecticut, Maine, Maryland, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm calling these people and helping these people get the money. And somebody tried to help this family, but they tried to do what Shunn tried to do regarding the tax foreclosure, and they thought they could fill out the paperwork themselves and do a Zoom call with the judge, and they thought the judge was going to send him 132 racks to his personal bank account. The judge said, "Boy, you better get off this Zoom call, get out my face." And I called the dude and said, "Hey, man, it looked like you tried to close this case for the family, but it looked like you didn't use an attorney." He was like, "Yeah, man, this, and that." I said, "Well, let's work it together." He was like, "No, man, I'm gonna try to close it myself." He didn't know that I'm asking you one time to help you with this case. After you deny us, I'm gonna just go ahead and call the family. I really don't need you. This ain't your money. I'm gonna call the family and tell them, hey, whoever y'all was with, I obviously don't know this business and tried to do it without an attorney. In Texas, you can't do that. You have to have an attorney go down here to these courthouses and go through the motions and orders and all that type of stuff to get this tax money. So I prefer um on the taxes because that's you can pull up a list. You won't see lists regarding mortgage foreclosures and the list online regarding mortgage information. So that's the difference. Now you can do a little bit more homework because you're gonna have to verify the judgment information on what it's sold for and see how much it's sold for and see the judgment on what they owe. You can find all of that information together, but just taxes, I can pull up, you know, a county and just Google tax foreclosure list and something will come up and I can just use that list particular and start skip tracing and finding somebody that quick. So I only like taxes because that's my first deal. Shunn, he's cool with mortgage because he made 8 racks off a phone call on mortgage. So it's kind of whatever swimming pool you jump in. Whatever swimming pool you jump in, like if you ever go to Vegas, they got 2 or 3 swimming pools. When you go to these parts of town, whichever one you jump in and start getting wet is where you swimming in the pool at. So I think both of them are cool. I really don't have a preference, but my preference is the first one I got. And the first one I got was a tax deal. The first one Shunn got was a mortgage deal, which shows you. And my money was green when I got paid, and the money Shunn got was green when he got paid. So either or, I don't think it's any pros or cons because you got 100,000 sitting somewhere for taxes, and you got 100 some thousand sitting somewhere for somebody that's owed for a mortgage. So it ain't no cons to that. It's all pros, and you get a piece of that. You can get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40% for helping somebody and calling them and emailing them and texting them and telling them that you will help them do it. I don't see no cons in that, y'all. I see only
So
pros.
so let me ask you this right here. Do they have? I'm sure that they have mortgage judicial then, right?
Now, mortgages are usually held with a trustee. Now, some states the mortgages will go through the court system too. So that's why you got non-judicial states and judicial states. So sometimes like Florida, Florida is one of them states where both of them are going to go through, the county. The county is holding the tax money, and regarding Florida, I believe that the county is still holding the mortgage money. You got to go through the judicial with the mortgage also. So
Mm,
mortgage and taxes, there can be situations where you have to go through a court process. But what's a couple of pieces of paperwork for an attorney to push to get that $100,000 and start splitting it 35% with you and the family? It's just all simple, man. It's all easy. And we
mm,
use an attorney. So anytime, we get somebody, all we're asking you to do is call, text, email these people, let them say it's okay to move on and move forward. And then you get your attorney, he or she does that paperwork. You got a team here. You got a system. You don't need to do all that. You tag your teammate in and let your attorney, that's where he got that licensed bar card or she got that licensed bar card to go into court, and you let them go play ball there.
Mm-hmm.
They get the money there, and then they'll take their cut and wire you, or they'll mail you a check.
Right.
But it's all simple, man. You just kind of follow the playbook. It's all easy and simple.
Yeah, I'm ready to sign some people up, man. I'm ready to work.
Man, I'm trying to tell y'all, all you gotta do is get started, and everybody can get started in their backyard. That's what me and Karen got started at. That's what Shunn got started at. I'm trying to get Tim back off the rope, get him back on the top rope, jumping off the top rope and back in there. Because man, y'all so close. You just don't know
Mm-hmm.
how close you are, and then you just can't give up. You can't quit. You'll do
No.
this if you don't give up and don't quit. It'll all work out
Mm-hmm.
for you if you don't give up, don't quit. I'm trying to get Trevor another $20,000. His first deal, he got $20,000 off his
Mm.
first deal. I'm trying to get him his second one. Sometime that second knockout is going to be the hardest for you. You got one, and now they calling you a one-hit wonder. But can we keep going?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Can
It's
we
all
keep
about
going?
motivation. It's all about keep it going. That's all.
You
Just
got to
keep
keep
the
it
hope
going, man.
alive.
You
Keep the
got to
hope
keep it
alive,
going.
man.
You got to. I know
And
y'all
that's
work
what.
eight
Yeah.
12 hour shifts, man. But after that 8 12 hour shift, you go home from 7 to 9, call a couple people. You like, Jay, man, I'm
Yeah.
working all day, all night. I don't come home till
Mm-hmm.
9, 10 at night. You got to give me something on Saturday and Sunday. That's just way
Yeah.
how we gotta work it out, thug it out. We got to. We just gotta make time to
The
call
only way we gonna
somebody.
make it.
Yeah, everybody mute yourself because we got some background.
This
But
right
y'all
here has
just
got
gotta make
it's
time.
got it's got kind of a to it, so it's better.
Okay.
Y'all just gotta make time, y'all.
I know today, and this is just my personal story. Today I think we worked on the business for a couple of hours. I got on and I started looking at some of the tax foreclosures from the 1st of December. And I wasn't finished. I was working on it in December, but I didn't get a chance to go through the whole list. So I went back over some things. And again, like I said, I found one of the guys, the sister on Facebook. And so once I was done with that, I said, well, let me go back to this one address. We went to go door knock. Was it like the week of Christmas or maybe the week after? I'm not sure when we went, like maybe before Christmas. We went and door knocked on a property not too far from where we live. And I noticed that it was vacant, but I still dropped the envelope in the mailbox that actually went into the house. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me go back and research a little bit. And I saw that there was a address, another address that they could possibly live at. So we got up today after I made my calls or whatnot and find an old girl on Facebook. I said, well, let's, print out the paperwork and go over to this other address. And so we get over there. There's no car in the driveway. I couldn't tell if someone was there or not. So when I knock, I always start talking. I'm like, it's Karen with Loyalty Royalty Recovery. I'm not here to collect anything. I'm not here to serve you any bad news. I'm, here to let you know that you have funds after the foreclosure of your property on Yale Street. And, I'm just talking because I don't know, somebody could be on the other side of that door. and they, how we look at that peephole and we just kind of look and see and we won't say nothing. So I said, well, I'm just going to talk. So I already had my paperwork with my business card and our thank you letter and, the agreements. I already had it highlighted with the information. I put it in the mailbox. So as I'm walking to the car, I look across the street and I see neighbors outside working on a truck. I said, okay, well, I'm supposed to go over there and talk to the neighbors. And so it was a young boy and his grandfather. They were working on the truck, and I said, hi. I introduced who I was. And I said, do you know your neighbors across the street? And he was like, oh, not really. I don't really talk to them. I said, okay, well, I just left the envelope in their mailbox. This is what I need you to do. You about to meet your neighbors across the street now. Because I need to get in contact with them because they have a property that they had in this area that foreclosed on, and we're trying to get in contact with them in regards to some money that's due back. So Grandpa knew what I was talking about. He said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, and if they don't claim this money, the county gonna keep it. He said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I was talking to the grandson because there's only so much I know Grandpa gonna be able to do. He's trying to focus on fixing the truck. He ain't worried about what I'm talking about, but he is. But I told him, I said, I will pay you a referral fee if you're able to link me up with neighbors across the street. I said, just let them know I came by, stopped by, put something in their mailbox so they can take a look at what I've dropped off. I need to get in contact with them to get some money over to them. And he was like, okay. And so he gave me his number. I programmed him in my phone. I texted him my information. I told him, thank you for chatting with me. And so that I consider that as a hot lead. And sometimes we have to go over and beyond sometimes, especially if we're working different cases in our own backyard. You just have to go over and beyond. Get some cards made. If you ain't got no cards, get some sticky notes and put your name and information on a sticky note. Go ahead and print out the agreement. Go ahead and print out the thank you letter, introducing yourself and why you're contacting them and with the property's information and what's going on and, whatnot. So sometimes you have to go over and beyond to, reach out to these claimants. So that's all I really wanted to share because that's very important. I felt good about that. I'm like, okay, neighbor was outside. All right, so now somebody knows something, He was like, well, they drive a red car and I don't really know them. I'm like, yeah, you're about to get to know your neighbor. Now I done put heat under him like, bounty hunter mode. I'm going to give you some money. Help me. He's like, I got you, so those are some of the techniques that you guys can implement, especially when you're working on stuff in your own backyard. So any other questions, Jay? Did you have anything?
No, I'm waiting for the students. Me, you, and Shunn been whipping it up in this
I
party.
know, man. I came out of retirement, y'all. I wasn't doing nothing over here. Jason was about to fire me and let me go for good because I was not working the business at all. I was working on my own thing. And after so many talks and so many backroom sidewalk meetings and you ain't got a deal since you ain't y'all, I finally said, okay. And within 48 hours of getting back to work, I closed 2 deals. So it's no excuses. There's no excuses as to
No, I
why
like
you
it. I
keep
love it.
it.
How you doing? My name's Darrell. I'm a new
Hi,
member.
Darrell.
I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I never heard of this. So I'm very interested in it because it's got to do with something with money. And I'm good with people. So I did door to door for Verizon for like 2 years. So talking to people is what I do. So I know I can get an understanding where it's at now. So I'm ready, I'm cheered up for the get on the team, get on board. I just want to know where my list is so I can get the call and email it. I gotta
Hey,
make
I
some
think
money. I got
I
some
think
competition in the chat right here. You got 8 racks going to the grocery store, 100 racks. I gotta get to working, man. I can't do too much talking.
Hey, I already emailed you a list, Shunn. It's the Texas Georgia list. So when you get a time to check your email, I already sent you a list. You just got to click in there. There's some training on there too, and you just got to click on it when you have time when you ain't working. But you got to tell them. You got to tell them the real deal while you here, man. You left out the juicy part, like how did me and you met, and How do you know about surplus funds and tell them what's going on and why I contacted you and what's going on? You skipped all of that part, man. Don't skip all of that.
Hi, y'all. Me, Sean. I'm interested to know.
The bread and butter to this, man. This is how I know that this business right here was like God sent. Like I've been
Mm-hmm.
knowing about this business for probably 3 years. I was supposed to start this business up like 3 years ago. When I first heard about it, I was about to get into wholesaling, and I was trying to find me another secondary income. That's like another secondary hustle that can just make me money, and I didn't have to put in a lot of time. And one day I was on Facebook or whatever, and this foreclosure academy um, uh, uh, commercial came up, and I was just like, dang, that's interesting, man. Like, shoot, you can sit up there and literally get paid by helping people recover money like that they didn't know about. Like that's a blessing. Cause see, I already have a business that I'm helping people out. I have another business where I help people get their car out the impound if they don't have the money or the insurance. So if your car get towed, then and you don't have the money, they'll call me. I go get your car out. I keep it, and then they'll pay me. They'll pay me to store their car, basically half of what the impounder charged them. So doing that
That's true.
business and getting people,
Yeah.
huh?
I
So so
actually
so
need your
doing that.
number now. My cousin, he actually got his card took it not too
Oh
long
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Our grandmom died, and it was her name, and it was actually an SRT scat pack. We got the whole engine done over. He got the whole car done over, and it just got taken like a week ago.
Well, I don't know where you at, but I'll go get it. But yeah, man. So with me doing that business and then me think people actually crying and thanking me like, man, you saved my car, man. If it wasn't for you, the impound would have just kept my car. I've been out of the car. Like, so I was like, man, you know what? I love businesses where you actually help people out and you can still get compensated for helping people out. So as soon as I heard the business, I was like, yeah, that's a business. I immediately bought the course. So throughout the course, in time, sometimes you get motivated like all of us do on this phone. We'll get so motivated. We'll be like, we start hearing dollar signs and thinking of all the stuff we finna buy and all the stuff we finna do. And so that kind of motivates us to go ahead and start trying to put off into it. So I will put off into it for maybe a few weeks. I listen to the course and I just be just doing things around the house, just listening to that course, just, really locking in on the course. And then it'll be that time so where shoot, you won't listen to the course for a few days and you'll look up, you ain't listened to the course in a month. You see what I'm saying? Because life is life and you just doing different stuff. So, that happened to me for probably about 2 years where like I mean I didn't even touch the course, and then all of a sudden one day I said, hey, I'm gonna dive back in or whatever and start trying to find out who else I can listen to, get another opinion. And that's when I got on YouTube, and then I ran across the guy named Eric Richardson. And when I ran across Eric Richardson, I immediately created a folder on YouTube. I started watching all his videos and dumping every video that I watched that seemed like it was helpful into the folder, and I'm just listening to him day in and day out, just listening to him. So then I signed up and got in the Facebook group, and then now I'm in the Facebook group now, the community. I'm just listening to all of these people ask questions and doing all of this stuff right here. At the time, I got my upholstery business going on. So then that's when me not even knowing Jaden came and called me and got some work done. He called me and I can automatically hear Jay's energy through the phone whenever he had called me because he was talking about like, hey, you know what, we got our stuff done by somebody else and they didn't do it right, man, so I'm trusting in you. So Jay pulled up to the shop, man, and I done Jay's headliner to his XC90 Volvo, and he liked it. And for some reason, I always ask people like, what do they do? It's just a habit. I always, if I see somebody that seems like the energy is good, or that they just do good business, or they good people, or they seem like that they ain't really want for nothing, I always ask them what they do. But I never asked Jay what he did. I didn't even ask him. So I remember one day I woke up and I was looking at a video that Eric Richardson had did to where he had called some people from Dallas and had done like a little seminar. So I seen Jay and his wife up there talking about how many deals they had closed and stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, oh, dude, look familiar, but it didn't dawn on me. I'd never put two and two together. So after I watched that video, then kind of I have a morning ritual or something like that. I may do it a few times a week where I go through my folder and after I done a car, I take pictures of them and I post them to my Google, just to kind of get feedback and, just pictures, to update it. So that morning I had woke up, I had went and found Jay's pictures, not knowing again it was Jay, just the last XC90 that I'd done. I took, I put it on my Google. Then, like I said, I finished watching the video, and then as soon as I seen the video of him and his wife, I immediately hit them both. I didn't even know that they was married at the time. I just hit them both. Just like, hey, you know what? Y'all in Dallas, man. Y'all in this upholstery business, man. Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? How y'all been doing? Like, y'all doing good? And Jay hit me back or whatever and was like, man, the top notch guy or whatever, who do headliners and this right here. I was like, bro, what you talking about? He's like, you done my headliner and my XC90, man. This is Jay. I was like, bro, are you serious? So, man, then I'm talking about a light went off. Then I was like, man, say if this ain't God telling me like, hey, you to sit up there and like just lit something. Like it was so ironic how just I sit up there and woke up that day, posted his car that I done, seen him on this video, and then me and him, he was a customer of mine. So I immediately hit his phone. He hit my phone or whatever. We started talking. And I just told him, bro, like, hey, it's on. Like we finna do something. You know what I'm saying? And that's how me and Jay just kind of like linked in. And once we linked in and shoot, Jay was just telling me anytime I was playing my little hiccup game, like, man, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this before I start. Jay was just like, man, bro, listen, man, Shunn, respectfully, all that shit you doing, bro, just pick up the phone, start making phone calls, and trying to get in contact with these people. Everything else will fall into place once you do that, and that's what happened. Shoot, I got together. We started making phone calls. I didn't even know how to format a list. I didn't know how to make a list. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff right here. But each time that we done it, then we just kind of start getting better at how we make our list and what we need to filter out, what we don't need to put on the list, and how we making our phone calls. And shoot, it went from there. And I noticed that whenever we started making phone calls, we really started getting in contact with these people, and it went from there. But
That's it.
yeah,
That's
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 That
it.
was
that's
Like,
that's how it
that was
started.
an interesting story, man. That was a hell of a story.
Man,
That was a good
hey,
thing.
hey, hey, man. It like I say, sometimes, man, I told myself, I said, say, man, when God sometimes kind of like open up avenues and open up little like you have to take
Hmm.
those. It's like you're a running back. You know what
No,
I'm saying? When you see that
right.
hole open up, if you don't
You got
hit
to
that
take them
hole,
chances. Yeah.
yes, bro. If you don't hit that hole may close up. And when that hole
Yeah.
closed up, now you got to go a whole nother alternate route. Now you scrambling in the backfield or whatever, and then you probably finna get sacked. No, man, when
Right.
that hole open up, man, you
Right.
hit that hole right then, running. So whenever
Hmm.
I was already felt like that I was hitting the ground running, I already felt like that we was making plays and we was doing stuff and putting stuff together. But when I
Hmm.
seen that and kind of like, come on, man, that's like, come on,
Yeah, like
how's that?
that. Right.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
was like
Because
a
I'm gonna be
sign. That
honest
was
with
a
you.
sign.
Uh,
That was a
yeah,
sign to tell you to stop playing
it,
around, man. Get down with this
it
money.
was a sign. It was a sign because you always gonna sit up there and want to link up with people that's doing business like you that you
Hmm.
can actually just call. You know what I'm saying? It's so many people that whenever I first kind of start doing the business, you know what I'm saying, I see where they at. It was a few ladies or whatever I seen that was in Texas. I think it was a
Hmm.
a lady. She was a private
Mm.
investigator. She was from Texas. I remember
Right.
trying to call her. Bro, a lot of them was gatekeeping. They didn't want to share no information. They don't want, and I'm a helpful
Mm.
person. You know what I'm
Right, me
saying?
too.
I feel
Yeah,
like honestly,
I like
the
that
game
too.
is to be
To
the
be
game is
told,
to
not to
be
be
told.
sold.
It's not to
Real
be
rap.
sold because at the end of the
Real
day,
rap.
you're like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's people who done gave me game. I'm willing to give it
Mm-hmm.
away. Now everybody ain't gonna sit up there and receive it because it's just like now. You know what I'm saying? People that's out there teaching courses and doing this stuff right here. Everybody that's listening to that course is not receiving the message. They just there.
No,
You
seriously.
see what I'm saying? That they just there. So you may be
Mm-hmm.
you may relaying that message. Everybody ain't receiving it. So the people who receive it, that's who it's going to be up to. I like to receive
Mm-hmm.
messages, but
No,
some of them were
seriously.
trying to sit up there and give those messages. So whenever I talk to, I'm listening to the what's name, and then I talk to Jay. Jay giving information. I'm like, bro, Jay just like me. You know what I'm saying? If somebody called me and they don't know something, bro, here, man, here you go. This is what you do. This is how you do it. So then
Yeah.
that's the reason why I felt like that. Yeah, Jay was 100 about it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you are going to look for people who is kind of trying to do the same thing you are. You're gonna want to link in with them. You're gonna want to y'all want to feed off each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, I told Jay like, man, hey, let's
And just
let's
learn
let's
some
let's
knowledge
get
from
it.
each other.
Yes, yes. Let's learn some knowledge from each other because even though I have not been in the game for a long time, I know that I will be a great asset as a partner, like with partnering
Seriously,
in with
yeah.
somebody, because at the end of the day, what they don't see, I'm gonna pick up and see. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's not that it's gonna just be one sided where they're gonna just come with everything and then we still split the money. Now you coming with something, I'm coming with some stuff too. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna get in or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, share the information, and then we can still. It's enough money out here for everybody. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough money out here
Seriously.
for everybody. So
I ain't never heard this. I'm from